Our planet is swimming in discarded plastic. Plastic pollution has become a huge problem as increasing production of plastic products overwhelms our planet's ability to deal with them. We use 500 billion plastic bags and bottles every year, while only 9% is recycled. This pollution comes mainly from our household waste, which is poorly recycled, dumped in landfills, or abandoned in nature. Our lack of empathy is the main cause of plastic pollution. As people cannot immediately feel their future, they consume and discard plastic carelessly. During my research, I realized that we are only looking at plastic as a problem to be solved. I look at this plastic pollution from their perspective. What if my friends were used only once and died every day? I empathize with the deaths of plastic. For my empathy journey, I started to record my waste every day and realized that I'm unconsciously throwing away a lot of plastic. As I saw abandoned plastic as death, I began to feel guilty about these little objects that were produced by humans and were abandoned mercilessly after single use. First, I compared life after the death of plastic with humans and made a parallel. In Korean Buddhist beliefs about death, the family and neighbors soothe the spirit of the dead person through a colorful and complicated funeral. They believe that death goes through an intermediate state and are judged by 7 kings every 7 days, depending on their past life. After 49 days, the dead can be reincarnated into one of 6 types of life. Also, they believe people can reverse over and over, which is called samsara. And I found it very similar to the recycling process of the plastic. Plastic with 7 main types is discarded and delivered to a recycling center and going through various processes that is suitable for each quality and situation. After that, they can reborn into another type of plastic, raw material, or even energy. I started to design a funeral ritual for plastic products. By applying the process of plastic being thrown away and recycled to the process of human death and reincarnation, plastic funeral ritual allows humans to empathize with plastic as a spiritual object and further raise awareness of using a disposable plastic product. Before designing, I looked into traditional Korean funeral rituals. Colorful and complicated procedures help people understand death and share the sadness with others. The procession is a colorful journey because they hope the dead can enjoy the luxury that they've never had in their lives. A bier is used for carrying a coffin to the grave as a bridge with the underworld. The decorations on the bier help the dead not to lose their way. There are 3 main procedures: confirmation of death, disposal of a dead body, and funeral. I analyzed the traditional beliefs and psychological functions for each stage, and based on that, I drew keywords for each process and applied them to my ritual design. This is my mock-up of ritual design, and after that, I made this object using abandoned plastic, such as plastic bottles and bags that I collected. I also designed the procession performance to actually make people participate in this ritual and give an impression to the public. The funeral ritual consists of 11 stages, and the process is as follows. First, take the label of your plastic and place it facing east. East is the direction of the sunrise, which symbolizes revival. Second, check the desk and open the cap to let the soul go. The soul escapes through the holes in the body. Then swing the label facing north and call the name of your plastic 3 times. The soul stays in the closet, so this helps the soul to go well to the underworld. After that, put the cap and the label in the pouch. The soul substance should be preserved in funeral objects for reincarnation. Next, clean your plastic product. Washing rituals purify bodies, extinguish sins, and prevent the mind from collapsing. Then crush your plastic and place your sauce. Sauce means fire, which symbolizes full of energy. Next, put the Big Dipper plate in the coffin first and put your dead plastic and the pouch together. This plate with 7 holes guides navigation to the dead. After that, write the details of the plastic on the white paper and put it into a spirit tablet. A spirit tablet with the name and status of the dead is a place for the soul to rely on. Next, on the red paper called Myeongjong, write the type of your plastic reincarnation process and your last words. Then put it on top of the coffin. Myeongjong is a long flag used to honor the dead. During a procession, it informs the identity of the dead and guides the way in front of the bier. Finally, put the coffin into the bier and pray for death and reincarnation. Then participate in the procession, which will be held after 3 days. I wanted to test people who are actually throwing away plastic waste participate in this ritual. So I looked for bins in CSM, and the bin in front of the canteen was the place where the most plastic is dying. So I set up a ceremonial table next to this bin and asked people who are throwing away plastic to do this ritual. By allowing people to perform complex and strange rituals themselves, it allows them to think deeply about the death of plastic during the procedure. They said that they could learn about plastic more and feel sadness as well. After several rituals, I made participants carry a bier which is filled with a few coffins and take part in the procession performance to the recycling center next to CSM, which is on intermediate state before plastic's next birth. That plastic will be judged and prepared for reincarnation. This performance with a colorful plastic bier allows participants to take part in this funeral more actively as they see off the death journey together. The experience of ritual and procession allows people to empathize with the death of plastic psychologically and practically. This ritual makes the act of throwing away waste a unique experience of participating in the funeral, making the interaction between human and plastic, and raising awareness of using a disposable plastic product.